This is the long-awaited CIY GAS67. I've had this board with me for a long time and finally I get the chance to see what the hype is all about. Opening the board, you are greeted with a very presentable package. These are nicely packaged stabilizers. Under the foam, you get the stuff to build the board and a coiled cable. I am actually impressed by this. Other than that, you get the board itself, a PCB, and a keycap and switch puller. Let's start this off by putting the feet on the board. You get these rubber stickers that you apply in the indentation, and these bits are for the flip up parts. Put a little bit of force and you are good to go. Next, I applied the prong gasket on the board itself. You can apply it to the plate if you wanted to, but for me, because the place where the gasket sits has these lines, it would be easier to replace if it eventually wears off. There won't be any residue or just a little of it. Now we can finally talk about the board. The GAS67 is a gasket mounted 65% layout in a plastic 2-part shell like the KBD67 Lite. Looking at the board, it is actually nice. The simple design and the layout make it easy to compare it to the KBD67, plus they are kinda in the same budget segment with different prices. But we can talk about the pricing later. The board comes with 3 different colors: green, black, and this purple. All of the options are translucent. I never had a purple board, so I just had to go with this one. Overall, simple design, not much to talk about, but I'm not a big fan of the lip part on top of the board. Since it is translucent, it's hard to see, but if the material is solid in color, I won't be too jazzed about it. At the back, you get this aluminum strip that separates the design in half, and it is a good touch. It is a simple thin strip with the name of the board, and it does not add weight to the board, but it is a nice addition to a budget board. The details really matter. And you have this toggle where the separator is. When it is up, it turns the left window key into a function key. That is really intuitive. If this is customizable, it would be perfect. The stabilizers that come with the board are actually nice. They are PCB mounted steps that are screw-ins, and you get this sticker to put underneath it, and I really appreciate this. This doesn't make the stab feel all weirdly gummy and bouncy like the ones you get with the C3s. I really wasn't a big fan of those. The stabilizers colors are really pretty and they are not rarely. I just added some lube and it is all good. I tried to holy mod one of the stabs and it just made it more readily. You can straighten up all the wires and make it better, but you can live with the stock stabs. Just add some lube with it. The only gripe I have with the stabs is that they don't have the metal threads in them for the screws, so you have to be careful if you want to keep constantly taking them out. But I'm pretty sure you don't have to do that, so you'll be fine, and even if it does not screw anymore, you can just get new ones. You get a polycarbonate plate with the board and this silicone to put under the plate, and also a PCB foam sheet to PE mod. For the switches, I have this Pangujain V6. These are long pole stem linear switches with this beautiful blue housing made out of a magic material called HPE. This has long pole stem made out of palm, 16mm springs, 62 gram to bottom out, and both housings are made out of HPE. Of course, they're not magic, but these are absolutely solid switches with really smooth actuation. I'm gonna say this, but I think they are the smoothest switches I've ever tried. Is it smoother than Tangerine's? Ooh, it's up there. But this switch sounds good even when unlubed. They are factory lubed, but it's not heavy coats. You can hardly see them. You can reapply some coats of Krytox to make sure that the smoothness is consistent, but I'm pretty sure you will be happy with stocks. Since the board is purple, I thought I would match them with this fishing inspired keycap set. These are double shot ABS with this muted purple color that I think would match the board really well. Usually I have themes for these builds, but I have none today. I haven't made a JoJo reference in a while though, but there's no fish and JoJo reference. The only thing I can think of is that annoying dude from Golden Wind, the Aniki dude, Pesci, he has the fishing rod. And he was so annoying. Like every 30 seconds, you just hear him saying, Nikki. Beach Boy is just, it's not purple, it's literally just a fishing rod. Purple haze could be good. While he talks about JoJo, let's build the board. The board is... well, I had higher expectations for this. The board does not sound hollow, which is a good thing, but it's tiny and not really full. I thought it could be because of the switch, because it was only factory loop, but I tried to loop some switch and also filmed it, and it was not sounding the greatest with the board. The switch just felt weirdly heavy for 62 grams, and the sound, I was not happy with it. I also thought it might be the PCB foam, mainly because it does make all the switches relatively sound the same. And for this foam, the switch just feels like it lost its sharpness. Foam and gasket PC plate, I did not like it. I got rid of the foam and the switch were still... they were meh. I tried some alternative long pole switches on the board, and the best I like is the Evolary. Yes, I've used this switch in a few builds, but for me they are just so versatile. And they sound good on almost all the board that I built them with. And yes, they have a small leaf crunch, but it is barely noticeable. And the sound is way more balanced with this. I tape modded the PCB with one layer of masking tape. I didn't want the sound to be too muted. I also had some more foam on hand and just covered half of the bottom of the board with it, since there is limited space to work with. It will look a bit awkward from below since the board is translucent, but the sound is more important. Something that I realized and that you should be careful of is the absence of a metal thread in the shell of the case. Disassembling the board multiple times could be a big problem. Make sure you plan ahead in advance, you can't be too careful. It sounds way better now. For me, this feels and sound better. But what do you guys think? Do you like the before or the after? For the board itself, is it worth it? Is it worth the $40? $40? Really? That much for all of this? Absolutely. Yes, it has its bads, it's north-facing and the sound profile is something more to be desired of, but putting a price tag that is half of what the KBD67 Lite is offered at, its rival, sort of, kinda, for me is an absolute win. With $50 in your hand, you would get a good, well-decent, well-rounded 65% that is gasket mounted for half the price of the best entry options in the market. You would get as much as what the other board offers. maybe a little bit less, but with an amazing price. Yes, the KBD is south-facing and it's VR and QMK compatible, and in my opinion, it sounds way better, but it costs twice as much. And comparing that next to the GAS67 and seeing what both board offers, it kinda puts everything in perspective. I'm not saying to take out the KBD from your shortlist and move ahead with this board instead, but this could be a good option for all those newcomers out there. There are not many boards out there that you can buy for less than $50 that offers this much for a good of a price as this. If you want to build a keyboard and you need a complete kit minus the switches and the keycaps, this is just the perfect board for you guys. I bet you can build a completed board for less than $60 depending on the region, but still this is a good board for what the price offers. Just be careful with the keycaps and you are good. So, it has its ups and downs, nothing is perfect, but something that costs as much as this is the closest that you can get to perfect. I fully recommend it, especially if you are new to the hobby. I wish I had this when I started the hobby. That's all from me. If you like the video, why not give it a like and subscribe while you're already down there. Stay safe and see ya. Killer Queen. Is that purple or pink? To be honest, one of my favorite villains. That's a video, I guess. Technically it works because I guess the stand is a cat. Cat, fishing, kinda match. Ooh, the Grateful Dead. That's purple, right? It has that dangly stuff.